Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of What's on My Desk. Today I have 6 watches on my desk, and they're here to serve as an example and to help me answer a question that's been asked by me from watch collectors, watch lovers, watch dealers, even some people that work for manufacturers. Is horology dead? Now I know it's a harsh question to ask, and what do I mean by that? I mean the question is an average watch guy or girl out there in it for a brand name, an overall aesthetic look, and what's hot? Or is your average watch collector going to be someone who's going to appreciate a complication of a watch, the way the watch is made, when it was produced, and whom it was produced by, versus what is hot and popular and on Instagram? So what are the watches I'm going to use to answer these questions? Well, I brought a lot of complicated pieces with me. I have a Romain Jerome Tourbillon. I have a DeWitt Academia Tourbillon. I have a Maitres du Temps triple calendar. I also have a Grand Complication piece from IWC in platinum. I have the Audemars Piguet ceramic offshore with the gray dial, and I have a ladies RM007. I know it's kind of an oddball collection, and you're going to ask yourself a question: how am I going to tie this all into the everlasting questions of is horology dead? Well, let's start with the first watch, and that is going to be the IWC Grand Comp. I am going to show you a close-up of this, and I'm going to let you listen to the minute repeater just because I love this watch, and that's because I can appreciate of how it's made and how it sounds. So here's a close-up of the IWC Grand Complication. Full perpetual calendar, minute repeater chronograph in platinum. And I'm going to set up the minute repeater just to let you guys listen to this because I love to listen to this. Sounds great, doesn't it? So why did I start with this first? Well, because this watch, as it should, retails for $283,000 in platinum, which is somewhat underpriced if you compare it to some of the other Grand Complications that are out there. Audemars Piguet, for a watch such as this, you're over $400,000. For a Patek Philippe, you're pushing $700,000-800,000. IWC manages to make their own movements and manages to keep the prices low. At $283,000, it actually sounds like a bargain in comparison to some of the other guys. However, what is the resale value of the watch? What is the market value of this watch? What does this watch sell for today? Surprisingly, you'll be able to pick this watch up brand new in the low 100s, less than half of its original price tag. Makes you wonder why. Personally, I feel like IWC's average customer is not a $200,000 customer. I think IWC's average customer is from that $10,000 to $20,000 range, and most of them are probably going to be under that $10,000 range for a nice sporty aqua timer. So it is very difficult for them to buy a buyer, and people have the sense of, why am I going to spend $283,000 or even $100-some thousand on an IWC? See what I did there? Let's move on and we'll come back to that. Next, I'm going to show you a Romain Jerome Tourbillon, and I'm going to give you a quick close-up just so you can see what the watch looks like as I talk about this. So here's the Romain Jerome Tourbillon. This watch originally retailed for $153,000. It's a limited edition of 9 pieces. What is the retail again? $153,000. How much are we selling this for? It's secondhand. We're selling this watch for $35,000. It's selling at almost 80% off its original retail price. Now, why? The answer is going to be simple. 9 out of 10 watch guys are going to tell you because it's a Romain Jerome. But it's a tourbillon. It's the second most complicated thing you can put into a watch. But it's still a Romain Jerome. Now, personally, I love gimmicky stuff, and the gimmick from Romain Jerome, this is a Titanic watch, so this rust stuff is actually created from the DNA from the original Titanic. I don't know what the technology behind it is and who actually really cares. I do. I happen to like that stuff. However, again, you're picking up a tourbillon for $30-some thousand, of almost 80% off its original price tag. Let's move on. DeWitt. Mr. DeWitt is a direct descendant of Napoleon. That's the whole gimmick. This company is only about 15 years old. I think they opened up in 2003 or something. A few years after that, I actually met Mr. DeWitt. Mr. DeWitt is like 6'7". Napoleon was like 4 foot nothing, standing on a telephone book. I don't know how he managed to become his descendant, but it is what it is. That's the gimmick that they used. That's what they went forward with, and that's their claim to fame. They also claim that out of 600 some companies out there, only 18 make their own movements and only 4 make their own dials, and they're a company that makes their own movements and makes their own dials. I'm not sure if those statistics are actually correct, but it is somewhat true. Not a whole lot of companies out there use their own movements. They bring someone else in, and same when it comes to dials. So let me show you this beautiful tourbillon. So here's your DeWitt Academia tourbillon. It's beautifully done in rose gold and titanium. It's a beautiful combination as far as I'm concerned. You got a 5-day power reserve, tourbillon cage at 6 o'clock as usual. Overall, sort of that steampunk design. When you see the watch, it's unmistakably DeWitt. Also limited edition to 100 pieces, as with most of their tourbillons. Overall, a good looking watch. Retail value on this watch, $220,000. What can you buy this watch for? Same fate as the Romain Jerome. 35, 40,000, maybe even 30,000. I haven't decided what we're gonna put these online for pre-owned yet, but probably somewhere around the 40 grand mark. Again, about 80% off retail. Next is the Maitres du Temps Chapter 2. In the early 2000s, or mid-2000s, a gentleman by the name of Steve Holtzman decided to basically invite a bunch of kick-ass watchmaker and say, hey guys, I'm gonna open up a company called Maitres du Temps, use your skill sets, your movements to put together kick-ass watches. He did it at a time where the watch market was so hot that pretty much anything was selling and sticking. And he said, you know what, why not take advantage of it? He got together 2 guys, Peter Speak-Marine and Christophe Claret, both absolute geniuses and some of my favorite watchmakers in the industry today. And he came out with a watch called the Chapter 1, which was a very complicated watch. It had tourbillons in it, annual calendar, triple calendar. Later, Peter got together with Daniel Roth and they came out with the Chapter 2, which is sort of has the same look and feel of Chapter 1, except it's less complicated and less expensive. I think the retail on this watch was right around $100,000, which is still very expensive for a triple calendar. And they were successful for a little bit until we got up to the financial crisis. And today, these watches are nowhere to be found. There's not a whole lot of boutiques out there selling them. There's not a whole lot of goods out there, hence the resale value. This watch at $100,000 retail, again, it's gonna suffer the same fate as the other pieces that I showed you. $25,000 to $30,000 where you're going to be able to pick this up secondhand once I make a decision how much I want to sell it for. Let me show you a close-up of this watch because it's actually worth taking a look. So here is the Chapter 2 triple calendar. You can see it shows you the month, it shows you the date, and it shows you the day of the week. And it does it in a very unique way by having these 2 barrels up at the top, which to me is pretty kick-ass. Now, this is a quick set triple calendar, which is also very convenient. So you got a button here that will change your date, and then you have these 2 buttons in the back here, one here and one over there, that will actually change these little barrels and they'll make them jump over, and I'll just show you. See that? See what it does there? And then this guy will change the day of the week. It's pretty cool how they flip out. I just wanted to show you that. So I just showed you an IWC Grand Comp. 280,000 retail, will sell for low 120s, less than half price. 2 tourbillons at around the $30,000 to $40,000 mark, and a super complicated triple calendar that also trades at around the same. Now ask yourself a question. I'm going to take these 2 pieces, Romain Jerome tourbillon, retail $153,000, DeWitt Academia tourbillon, retails $220,000, and I'm going to pick up this Audemars Piguet Offshore. Ceramic bezel, gray dial, retail value $41,000. Let me put the 3 side by side, just so we're on the same page here. Now ask yourself a question. What would you rather have? The Offshore, the DeWitt tourbillon, or the Romain Jerome tourbillon? Because the truth of it is, they all are going to trade at around the same price. Market on the AP is around $30,000, low 30s. Maybe you'll be able to pick it up for $29,000, or maybe you'll be able to pick it up for $32,000, depending on the kind of deal you have. What is so special about this Offshore? It's a no big deal automatic chronograph moving from AP. But the key word is AP. 7 out of 10 people, if you ask them a question, which would they rather have, they will pick this Audemars Piguet. So ask yourself a question, is horology dead? Can people no longer appreciate the complexity of a tourbillon movement, the complexity of a uniquely designed triple calendar, and the watchmakers that stand behind it, or yet another complicated tourbillon? Well, let me take this a little bit further for you. Now I'm going to pick up this IWC Grand Complication in platinum that, as I said, you can pick up in the low 100s. And I'm going to pick up an RM07. Let me put these two side by side. IWC Grand Comp, RM007, a ladies ceramic brown with a diamond dial. You're asking me, what the hell is you doing putting a ladies RM next to an IWC Grand Comp in platinum? Well, just to put things in perspective. As I mentioned, this sells in the low 100s. This sells for around $100,000. What is the retail on the RM07 today? It's $105,000. What is the retail on the IWC Grand Comp? $283,000. One of the most complicated pieces in the world, made by a company that's almost 200 years old, versus a newcomer who's around 10 years old, and a ladies' watch. Why is this trading at $95,000 to $100,000, around the same as this? Well, supply and demand. There's not many of these out here. But what would you rather have? A ladies' piece for $100,000 that just shows you the time, or an IWC Grand Comp? And once again, ask yourself the questions. Is horology dead? Is the love of horology, love of watchmaking, slowly but surely dying on us? Or are we becoming simply brand whores? If you ask me, based on what I see happening in today's market, based on what I see what customers are requesting, based on what I see me wearing, I'm telling you that horology, as you see it, is slowly but surely dying out. And what's happening is that you're going to have brands taking a turn towards trying to make a supply and demand situation by cutting production drastically and trying to create that hype that, for example, Richard Mille has right now and Audemars Piguet has right now, probably the two top selling brands in the market today? Or are they still going to try to continue with innovative watchmaking that more and more people are no longer appreciating? Now, I didn't really answer the question that I posed. I just simply showed you some facts of what's out there and what's happening in the market today. It's really up to you to decide how you feel about this, what type of person you are. And I would appreciate if you let me know in the comment section below how you really feel about this topic. How do you feel about, what would you choose? A DeWitt Tourbillon or a Royal Oak Chronograph? Would you spend $100 grand on an RM07 or a Grand Comp IWC? Would you even consider touching a Romain Jerome Tourbillon? It's still a Tourbillon, and a good one at that. And would you even consider picking up a Maitres du Temps made by some of the greatest watchmakers that are out there today? Please comment below and let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear some feedback on this, and I would greatly appreciate it. Well, last but not least, I have to show you what's on my wrist. And today, I'm wearing the Royal Oak Chronograph yellow gold on a full bracelet. It's an oldie but a goodie, older version at 39mm. It fits me really well, it's really comfortable, and guess what? It is popular. Trades around the same price as the Romain Jerome Tourbillon. Well, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. If you liked and enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time for more watch reviews and other videos.